Now on KGW News, Labor Day 1 year ago started one of the worst wildfire seasons in Oregon history. We're checking in tonight with one of the hardest hit areas. Plus, 3 people are shot inside a Pearl District restaurant, and that was just one of the shootings in the city this weekend.
The level of chaos is definitely higher than I've seen it.
Then, the big change in unemployment that has some workers worried and employers hopeful.
It's still difficult to find fully staffed right now, and who knows what's going to happen going into the winter.
And later, why OHSU just pulled its sponsorship from the Portland Marathon. First at 11, Labor Day is often considered the unofficial end of summer, but summer's not done yet. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Laurel Porter. We could see 90s again tomorrow, and that has lifeguards extending their season on the Sandy River. Mike Benner reports.
On this sunny, hot Labor Day, we found dozens of people cooling off in the Sandy River at Glen Otto Park. Included in that bunch was Jim Bush of Troutdale.
Hanging out, getting some vitamin D. Trying to get outside before they lock me down again.
The 65-year-old Bush tends to stick to the shore more often than not, but that doesn't mean he doesn't appreciate the work of AMR's River Rescue Team.
A lot of key things that we're looking for is people with poor swim stroke, children that aren't in life jackets.
River Rescue Team Coordinator Phil Stoynoff tells us between Memorial Day and Labor Day at Glen Otto and High Rocks Park, the team helped 200 struggling swimmers, and they rescued 4 people. That's double the number of assists and rescues reported in 2019. Keep in mind, lifeguards did not staff the parks in 2020 because of COVID. Stoynoff attributes the incredibly busy 2021 to the early summer heat waves.
In June, I believe it reached up to 115, 116 degrees. And we helped a lot of people out during that time.
Wow. And the season isn't over yet. Stoynoff says the River Rescue Team typically calls it quits on Labor Day. But because some hot weather is expected in the coming days, the team will suit up through Wednesday.
We want to be out here and hopefully prevent anything from happening.
Oh, they're always out here. They're real fine young men and young women.
You can count Jim Bush as one of the River Rescue Team's biggest fans. It's among the many reasons you'll find Bush right back here next summer.
I'll be out here as long as I'm here. As long as I live here, I'll be here.
The River Rescue Team is made up of paramedics and EMTs. If you check that box and want to join the team, you can apply in the early spring. Of course, some intense training follows that, and the team will be back out here and at High Rocks Park in Gladstone come Memorial Day weekend. Reporting in Troutdale, I'm Mike Benner for KGW News.
And we are glad they're there. As Mike mentioned, summer isn't quite over just yet. Let's bring in Joe Ranieri with what we can expect with this week's upcoming heat wave. Joe?
Yeah, well, we're looking at about 15 days away from the official start of fall. But earlier today, we saw temperatures right around the mid-80s throughout much of the metro area. You travel down in wine country, McMinnville, you got close to 90 degrees. We're going to be seeing more widespread 90-degree temperatures heading into tomorrow. So throughout the morning hours, we'll be seeing temperatures in the low 60s. By 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, right around 84 degrees, basically from Portland all the way down to Corvallis and into Eugene. I'm forecasting daytime highs right around the low 90s. There could be a few spots maybe throughout the east end of the Columbia River Gorge that could be looking at temperatures in the mid 90s. And then looking into Wednesday, it'll be a little bit cooler, but still on the warm side. Along with the heat we're going to be seeing here the next couple of days, the smoke and haze comes back into the picture tomorrow afternoon and into Wednesday. It'll be relatively thick throughout Bend and Redmond. That's basically what we have been seeing the last couple of days, and be light amounts heading into tomorrow afternoon and into Wednesday before things start to clear out later on in the week. I'll talk more about that and the cool down I'm forecasting later this week, a little later on the show.
Thank you, Joe. And talking about smoke and haze, 1 year ago, this is what it looked like in Oregon's Santiam Canyon. Remember this? The glow of wildfires mixed with a heavy layer of smoke turned the sky red in the middle of the day. Very strong east winds on Labor Day fueled what would be one of the worst wildfire seasons the state has ever seen. Today, we return to the canyon, one of the areas hit hardest last year, to check in with how people are doing. People from Idana, Detroit, and all over the area came together to talk and eat together. We spoke with one of the organizers with the Idana Detroit Fire Corps, an organization supporting the volunteer fire district.
We wanted to have a formal mark on this day to give people the opportunity to come together as a community to collectively process those feelings and emotions.
And it's not just people in Idana marking 1 year since the fire. Yesterday, the city of Detroit held a similar event celebrating resiliency and a community still standing and moving forward. And of course, areas of Oregon are still dealing with wildfires tonight. The Bull Complex fire burning in the Mount Hood National Forest has destroyed a historic fire lookout. The Bull of the Woods lookout was in Marion County. Firefighters have been trying to keep the fire from reaching it for several weeks, but conditions in the area were getting dangerous for them. And today they confirmed it had been destroyed. The Bull Complex fire has burned about 16,000 acres. It's only about 7% contained. The Portland Marathon's coming up October 3rd, and today the lead sponsor, OHSU, pulled out because of concerns over COVID. The hospital issued a brief statement saying it will postpone its sponsorship of the 2021 Portland Marathon. The statement danced around the obvious, but clearly OHSU thinks there's a danger of spreading COVID with so many people gathering close together for the running event. OHSU said no one was available to discuss the decision today. Marathon organizers said they respected the decision and also were not available to go on camera. The marathon homepage states anyone involved will have to prove they're vaccinated or that they tested negative in the 72 hours before the race, and they'll have to wear masks at the beginning and end of the event, but not while running. During this holiday weekend, many of you have been getting outdoors to make the most of it. It was so beautiful today. We wanted to see how people are doing with the reimposed outdoor mask mandate in Oregon and compare it to what's happening in Washington. On Northwest 23rd Avenue in Portland, businesses have the mask requirements posted for inside, but out on the sidewalk, it was open to some interpretation. We also visited Vancouver, and unlike Oregon, Washington State does not have an outdoor mask mandate. But health officials do highly recommend people wear masks in crowded outdoor settings.
You know, as a person and as a responsible citizen and just as a person who really cares, I've always worn a mask. So even if they change the mandate or say we do or don't have to wear a mask, I'm likely going to do it.
I will put a mask on if I'm in a group of people that's stationary. Same people, we will put a mask on, but if people are moving and it's outside, then I don't see a big need.
At last check, we hadn't heard of any enforcement or fines for people not wearing masks. New at 11, if you're thinking about heading to the movies this week, these theaters will soon require proof of vaccination. Starting September 8th, that's Wednesday, the Laurelhurst Theater, along with Cinema 21, Hollywood Theater, Living Room Theaters, Cinemagic, and Broadway Metro in Eugene will all be requiring proof of vaccination or a negative COVID test within 48 hours for all patrons. Masks are also required in all areas of the building and can only be taken off when you're eating or drinking. Portland saw yet another weekend of violence. This time, 2 shootings happened in the middle of the day. A shooting in the Pearl District around 1:30 Saturday afternoon left 3 people hurt. Another shooting a couple of hours later in Northeast Portland left a neighborhood nervous. Morgan Romero has more.
It was definitely kind of sobering for a lot of us.
No one expects to hear gunshots when they sit down for a relaxing Saturday brunch.
It's not like I'm working in a war zone, you know, I'm just in a downtown fancy Pearl District.
Just a block from World Foods, where Steve Williams works, witnesses say shots rang out at Everybody Eats. The popular restaurant on Northwest 10th and Davis strives to use food to give back to the community.
People are running this way from the shots, which are over there. People are running in the store. People eating brunch were coming in, some people weren't. Everyone was kind of huddled together. We had the doors closed, just kind of waiting to see what would happen.
Portland police say people got into a fight inside this restaurant in the heart of the Pearl District and shots were fired. The fight was then taken outside the restaurant where more shots were fired in broad daylight. PPB says a woman and 2 teen boys were hurt in the shooting, all involved in the fight. They were driven to a hospital and are expected to live. Police arrested a man, but couldn't say whether charges were filed Monday.
Not a good trend. The level of chaos is definitely higher than than I've seen it.
Saturday's shooting in the Pearl wasn't the only one in the city this weekend.
It feels nerve-wracking for that part.
On Northeast Highland and Rodney, Adam Johnson's security camera caught a drive-by shooting.
The way that things have been going in Portland, I guess, yeah, it's not completely surprising to me, but this area, this little pocket, seems to be really quiet, and we have kids on every corner in every house, like here.
He says he watched 3 cars pull up and people in one of them shoot at another.
I grabbed my 5-year-old and hit her over here behind the fence. And there was about 5 other kids playing in the neighbor's front yard too, and they had kind of all got down too.
You can see Johnson running to his youngest on a scooter around the corner.
He was down there and the shots had come this way. So I didn't know what I was really gonna find. But luckily he had just went into the garage, which he never does. And he was okay.
Although shaken, the Johnsons don't want what happened to change how they live, but rather spark action.
If we let something like that fear change us, then that problem will continue to persist.
Morgan Romero, KGW News.
Just into our newsroom tonight, the Lieutenant Governor of Texas is speaking out on Portland's resolution to boycott Texas goods and services in response to their recent abortion bill. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick posted on Twitter, quote, "Portland boycotting Texas is a complete joke. A city led by depraved officials allows lawlessness, putting their citizens in grave danger. A boycott will hurt them, not us. Texas's economy is stronger than ever. We value babies and police. They don't." End quote. This comes as Portland City Commissioners are scheduled to vote on the emergency resolution this Wednesday. President Biden, Democrats in Congress, and blue states around the country have vowed to fight the law, which would ban most abortions after 6 weeks. Republican-led states, including South Dakota and Florida, are already weighing similar restrictions.